All right, let's talk about a movie that basically defined a generation. Yay, Jawani Hey Diwani. Even all these years later, it's still that go-to comfort film for millions. So, what is it about this film? What's the secret sauce that makes it stick around? Let's get into it. And that really gets you thinking, right? What makes any film become a modern classic? Why do some stories just stick with you for years and years? Well, we've dug through the reviews, we've looked at the analysis, and we're here to figure out exactly that. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the story. Because at its core, this movie just gets it. It taps into that universal thing we all go through, that push and pull between our friends, our big dreams, and, those huge choices you have to make when you're young. So the whole thing kicks off with this incredible trip, right? You've got four friends, an adventure, and that's where the quiet, studious Nana starts to fall for the wild, adventurous Bunny. But ambition gets in the way. Bunny takes off for Chicago to chase his dreams. Then boom, we fast forward 8 years, he's back, and he's staring down this massive question. Is it going to be his career or the relationships he left behind? I mean, that's a conflict pretty much everyone gets on some level. But a great story is one thing. You need amazing direction to really make it feel real. And that brings us to our second point, Ayan Mukherjee's direction. The critics, the fans, everyone agrees it just felt so authentic. And the key phrase here really is without exaggeration. See, this isn't your typical over-the-top melodrama. Ayan Mukherjee totally avoids that. Instead, he focuses on these small, quiet, really truthful moments. The little bits of self-discovery that feel, well, they feel real. It makes the whole thing feel grounded, not like some crazy Bollywood fantasy. And hey, the critics totally picked up on this. One review literally called it a perfect and practical romance. Think about that. Practical. The problems in this movie aren't, saving the planet. They're about figuring out your career, your relationships, the actual stuff we all deal with. And that's exactly why it hits home so hard. But don't get me wrong, practical doesn't mean it's boring. Not at all. The direction is also brilliant at mixing in all the fun stuff we love to see in movies. Like this one critic said, you get the whole package, the super stylish friends, a wild road trip, and of course, the big, beautiful Indian wedding. It's that perfect blend of something you can relate to and something that's just a blast to watch. Okay, but let's be real. For so many of us, the absolute soul of this film, its heartbeat, is the music. Pritam's soundtrack wasn't just a bunch of songs, no way. It was, and still is, a legitimate cultural phenomenon. I mean, just think about it for a second. You've got Batimi's Dil, the ultimate party starter. Balam Pichkari, is it even holy without that song? And then the soulful, heart-wrenching Kabira. These songs weren't just hits, they became part of our lives. They're still on every playlist for every big celebration, even now. And it wasn't just us listening on repeat. The industry noticed, big time. The soundtrack got tons of awards and nominations, and not just for the music. We're talking awards for the choreography, even for the dialogues that were woven into the songs. It just proves what a complete package it was. All right, so finally, what ties all of this together? The acting. Because all that story and emotion needs someone to deliver it. And this cast, wow, they didn't just act out their roles. They became these people. They made them feel like friends you've known your whole life. And a huge part of the magic is how different the two leads are. On one hand, you have Ranbir Kapoor as Bunny. He's got this restless, kind of chaotic, but totally natural energy. He perfectly captures that mix of charm and total confusion about life. Then, on the other hand, you have Deepika Padukone as Naina. And what people loved about her performance was her use of silence, of quiet emotion. She showed this incredible, sensitive transformation without having to shout about it. And that contrast between them, that's what created that insane, unforgettable chemistry. So when you put all of these pieces together, yeah, it starts to make perfect sense why this film is still so iconic. It was really the perfect storm, wasn't it? You had a story about growing up that everybody could see themselves in. You had direction that felt honest and real. Then you throw in a soundtrack that became absolutely timeless. And you top it all off with acting that was so heartfelt, you couldn't help but fall for these characters. It was that special mix that turned what could have been just another movie into a true classic for a whole generation. And that brings us to the final takeaway. It's the big question the movie leaves you with, and it's one we can all ask ourselves. In your own story, in the movie of your life, what's bigger? The dreams you're chasing or the relationships that hold you together? It's something to think about for sure.